What is good, people? It's your boy Sherm and Obed back here once again, bringing you another great episode from What's the Word Entertainment. Good morning, sir. Hope you're doing okay. Glad to see you as always. What's happening with you?
Good morning, sir. Good to see you too. I'm fantastic. Just a word to America. America, happy to see you again. Do your taxes. Those of you that actually get some money back, invest it.
Yo, dude, taxes. I'm not looking forward to doing taxes this year with all this new tax reform and whatnot. Dude, your boy might be coming out of pocket. I'm not too happy about that, but we'll see what happens, dude.
Woo!
No
Make
bueno.
America great again, baby.
Whoa, yo, dude, do something with America, please. Anyway, let's get right into it, man. One of the things I would definitely want to touch on this week was some news in the college ranks. We haven't really touched on college basketball too much this year so far. So, I want to talk about the biggest storyline in college basketball. Your boy Zion Williamson out of Duke. The sensational forward injured his left knee in the game against UNC that the Duke did lose 88-72 in Cameron Indoor when Zion's sneaker blew out within the first minute of the game. Just blew out his whole shoe, twisted his knee, out the rest of the game. You can tell in that game the whole arena was deflated, the team was deflated. It just changed the whole entire dynamic of the game. I mean, when you lose a player like that, of course, you're kind of wind blows out of your sail, however you want to call it. Now they did play a game last night, but first game without him. But I mean, it was rough. So people are saying he should sit the rest of the year. People are arguing, no, he should come back when he's healthy. What do you think he should do? Should he sit or should he play when healthy?
It's tough. I've made a lot of what's the term I should use here? Blustery comments about the way NFL owners treat their players. I don't take any of that back. And, I think it's important for Zion to do what Boogie Cousins said. Think about your family. Think about yourself. Think about your future, right? You cannot capitalize on the talent that others have been capitalizing on you. And you need to think about the outlook, the prolonged outlook. It feels like the Kyrie Irving situation again. You know what I mean? Got a great player got injured. Might as well shut him down because the last thing you want to do is run him into the ground or hurt his career, not give him a chance to go out there and win a championship.
Yeah, and so real quick to your point, Kyrie only played 6 games for Duke?
Yeah,
and he was the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yep.
So
doesn't make a difference, right? He doesn't need to. And the NBA, I think we're going to talk about this later. But that whole changing the age limit,
right?
I mean these kids have been making money for AAU and all these other organizations for years at this point, decades. So might as well give the kid a chance. I say shut him down. The new look Duke doesn't look terrible. Still have RJ Barrett. Still have was that Reddish?
Yeah.
And then that kid Connolly. I mean, he looks O'Connell looks like he can shoot pretty well, as long as he keeps that up. So I think it's a confidence thing.
And dude, in the game they didn't play too bad without him. I mean, Barrett and Reddish I think combined for 60 points out of 72 for Duke. I mean, so obviously they led the way when Zion went down. I mean, he's still a big loss. As far as what he should do, in my opinion, this is just my personal opinion, I think he should play when 100% healthy. Not even 85, not even 95. Wait till he's 100%. Yeah. No, not even the slightest bit of sensation or numbness or whatever the case is, or pain in play. He signed a letter of intent. He committed to that university. The thing is, I was watching ESPN the other day, and guys like Marcus Spears and things like that were all saying he should sit out, get his money, make sure he gets his money in. And to your point, and Boogie Cousins said, it's all BS. I think he said, here's the thing. Everyone's talking about she should sit out because the risk of injury.
Yeah.
Now, before he went out, wasn't there a risk of injury? Wasn't there a risk of injury and him getting injured in practice? Wasn't there a risk of injury when the season started? Wasn't there a risk of injury when he was walking down his dorm room steps? Yeah. So if you were worried about him getting injured, he shouldn't have played the entire season then. He should have just never played. So then what was the whole point? He should have just sat out. Oh, you know what? There's a risk of injury. I'm just not going to play. So, but you started to play. So you might as well just finish the team. Don't just abandon your teammates. Because I'm telling you right now, those guys who are not going to go to the NBA and looking to get an NCAA title and play well, they want their best player on the floor with them. Yeah. So, I mean, I get the reasoning. Don't get me wrong. I understand why if he does sit out. But if it was me, and I was telling him, or even if it was me that was playing, I would play with my team. I would be out there. I'd enjoy my time because you'll never get that experience again. You know what I mean? So I think he should play. Is he going to? I don't know, man. I think he may sit out for a prolonged period of time and maybe come back, let's say, right before the tournament starts.
Yeah.
The March Madness, you know what I mean? And I think that's what he'll do. It's kind of like, all right, we'll make the tournament without him, obviously. Then whether they're a 1 seed or a 2 seed or whatever the case is, then I think he'll probably play in those games.
I would agree with that. I mean, honestly, I completely understand where you're coming from in the fact that he is committed. Like, these are his brothers, right? His roommate is R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett has supported him all the way through the entirety of this career that he's had at Duke. Right. It's been amazing. And the last thing you want is for the roles to be reversed there, and this guy to just be like, well, I'm healthy, but I can't be there for this for you anymore, right? That's not fair to the team as a whole. But the Kyrie situation. But then, so think about it in the NBA sense. What about Kawhi Leonard, right? Kawhi Leonard didn't want to play at all until he knew he was healthy and never felt like he was healthy. Maybe he was healthier than, good enough to go out there and play and support the team and help the team, but he didn't feel like 100%, right? So, and I feel like that always creeps in. People might want to play with a herniated disc. People might want to play with a bad ankle. People might want to play with a bad shoulder, and at least those people are compensated. I feel like he's hurting his money. I mean, I hope that they are paying him under the table like there's some boosters. Keep it 100. Right. But no, I mean, I think he owes it to himself and his family to do what's best for him. You want to come back when you're 100%.
Absolutely. 100%. Do whatever he wants. I'm not going to be mad at the kid or whatever he decides to do. Not at all. I'm just saying, like I said, if it was me, I'd play. Now, I mean, but let's say he does sit out the remainder of the year completely. Is Duke still a contender to win this championship this year, or are we going to look at schools like Virginia, or or maybe UNC or Gonzaga? Teams that are always in their top ranks. So, I mean, I just don't know if they can really get past, because one of their downfalls is 3-point shooting, and I don't feel like they can win the tournament without shooting the three well. Yeah. That's their biggest flaws, if not their biggest flaw. If without Zion, I don't think they can win the title.
I completely agree with you. I mean, they played, Zion featurette game, right? And it coincidentally, I hit up on an article on CBS Sports talking about the shoes that Zion was wearing, the Paul George's 2.5 or something.
Yeah, 2.5. Yeah.
And for me, it's a comfort thing in the shoes that I play any sport in, right? What feels good, that's what I'm gonna play with. Now, should a guy that big be playing in like a lighter, quicker player's body type style shoe? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there are some shoes that are just not comfortable for me. So maybe he should be playing in LeBron's, because those are built for a 270-pound football player that plays basketball, right?
Right. Yeah. Maybe. I think the university will take a look at the shoes and maybe switch them out. Maybe I think they're still on the contract with Nike, so they just might use a different shoe. Maybe, like you said, maybe the LeBrons they use X or whatever the case is. But I don't know if they're gonna be wearing PGs anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah, right. Put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, for real, right?
Yeah. But so no, I like you said, you pointed out they're not great at the three ball. It comes down to that kid O'Connell, and I mean, if this is going to come down to coaching. Can he coach a winner knowing that you can't do the three ball very well? Can you create shots? Can you create open shots for people to hit on the three ball? But I agree with you. I just the field is open now. I like the way UVA played them up even when they had Zion. I like the way Syracuse played them up when they didn't have Zion. So it feel like they are coming back down to earth with everybody else.
Yeah. I think they're gonna, need to adjust the way they play, because they usually play inside out. You know what I mean? So, but we'll see what happens with there. But I mean, being that they have to go to college, whatever the case is, out of high school, they can't go straight to the NBA like they used to. Do you think players should just skip skip college, maybe play over in Europe for a year, play some other rec ball, whatever the case is? Or, I mean, I like the fact that they go to college, they get that experience, get to be coached by a great coach like Mike Krzyzewski or Roy Williams or whatever the case is. What the whole one and done situation, I don't know. It's tough, man. I get it. You want to come out, you want to make your money, But you also got to be like, you realize, you know what? Because most of them don't go back because your education at the end of the day is going to be more important. Because if you get hit your second, third year in the league, then what are you going to do? You know what I mean? And then
look at John Wall talking about going back to school to finish his degree.
there you go. Perfect example. You know what I mean? So I don't know. The whole one and done thing, I can kind of go both ways on it. Like I like it in a way. Oh yeah, they're talented enough. Like look at KD, Kevin Durant, 1 year at Texas, boom. Yeah. He was number 2 pick. You know what I mean? Right there in the draft, number 2 pick. There's so many different ways you can go with it. Like LeBron coming out of high school, obviously.
Kobe coming out of high school, Kevin Garnett, Kyrie only playing 6 games at Duke.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I feel like if you're ready, you're ready.
Yeah.
I just think that these kids need to realize, hey, but then you have mistakes like your boy Tommy Brown, we were talking about, one of the biggest busts, come straight out of high school. So
OJ Mayo.
You know what I mean? These guys getting hyped up too much. I just don't know. How do you feel about the whole one and done type of thing?
So I think that if I understand it, I can't get mad. I like it. I don't have a problem. I feel like what was that? Rick Scott, was that the coach down at Texas who was just like, I'll take one kid every year. Right, mm-hmm. I'll take them for 1 year and they can go on. He had Kevin Durant. He gave Kevin Durant the best coaching he could give Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant has always spoke very highly of it and has gone on to be an NBA champion. So yes, I completely agree. They need the opportunity to be coached by these great players. But why are these great coaches at colleges though? Why couldn't this great coach be a paid coach who works in an association that creates, NBA basketball for the world, right? Like it's no different than like FIFA. Right, like you're not tied to the college that you go to if you don't want to be in order to be the player in this game. Right, I'm speaking in the terms of soccer. So it's tough. Yeah, you miss out on something. I feel like there's something to be said about players that come out of college, like Shane Battier. For all the things that people say, maybe he didn't live up to the hype of what he had done. He completed and achieved at Duke. He had some very poignant moments in his career where he showed his intelligence and his athleticism and his coaching coming together and being like, there he is. I think of the game that I can't remember who it was. I don't know what team he was on, but he played against Kobe Bryant. And he just like literally had his hand in Kobe Bryant's face. I'm sure you remember this. Like you have to. And I can't remember. He had a great defensive effort against Kobe Bryant. And I don't know if it was in the finals. I think it might have been just a regular season game, but that's one of those guys bringing it all together. And he wouldn't have, I don't think he would have had that had he not gone to Duke and had great coaching from Mike Krzyzewski. So
look at Jordan, 3 years at UNC. You know what I mean? Developed into the player that he, with the greatest player of all time. It's so hard to say whether it's good, whether it's bad. You know what I mean? Because you have examples both ways. You know what I mean? I think you should just give them the right. I don't think you should restrict them. If they want to go to college, let them go to college. If they don't want to go to college, shouldn't have to go to college. Not college is not for everyone, but it is a way to help develop your skill. But then again, like we were saying, how Boogie is like, college is BS. If you get hurt, then what do? You know what I mean? If you tear your ACL or, you have a compound fracture in college, you can never play again. And then there goes your money. You know what I mean? At least in the NBA, even if you get hurt your first year, you'll get some sort of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you're on if it's on a rookie deal, you're making $2 million for the season. Okay, it's still $2 million more than you were going to get in college. You know what I mean? So you could have also got a shoe deal, whatever the case is. So I get it.
If you're one of those ones who is really good, right? Like we said, most of these guys aren't going to get out there. So I'm hoping that these guys are insured. You know what I mean? $1 million for me or whatever, what have you.
Get that insurance, absolutely.
But you got to have your degree, right? That's just $1 million isn't going to take you for the rest of your life, right? Like,
absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, but all in all, I mean, Duke, they had their first game last night against Syracuse. They played really well. I think they won that game. Was it 75-65? Mm-hmm. Barrett had 30 and 5. Reddish only had 5 points, which was crazy. But Barrett definitely held it down for Duke. Oh, your boy O'Connell, as you mentioned, he had 20 and 5. So they looked okay without him. It was kind of a weird game before, I guess, Jim Boeheim. I don't know if you heard the news that earlier in the week he was driving home from after a game and he struck a pedestrian with his car in an accident, a terrifying accident he killed the man. I guess the victim was involved in another car accident, and then I guess he was out walking along the highway and Boeheim didn't see him or whatever and hit him and struck him, and boom, that was it. He's cooperating completely. I think he just might have been dark outside, just didn't see him. Wrong time, I think, which is awful. But all in all, Duke did get the win. They looked okay without Zion, but I think that was their first test of without being on the floor. We're gonna see how they match. Moving forward. I think their next matchup is against Virginia Tech. And then they end the year against UNC again. This time in UNC. So will Zion be able to be back for that game? Is he going to be back at all? I don't know. I think they're definitely going to need him for that game, though, once they get back to UNC and get playing in Chapel Hill. So I just don't know how they're going to be without him, man. It's going to be rough.
I agree. I think it's figure out how to either survive until Zion shows up or come into this thing with the game plan that, any good tactician would have created is, what do we do when Zion's not there, right? Bill Belichick is very famous for in practice situations where he pulls a player off the field. That player is no longer in the game anymore. We have to go without him, right? And sometimes that's Tom Brady. Sometimes that's Rob Gronkowski. Sometimes that's Julian Edelman. Are you practicing pulling Zion off the court and being like, okay, attack. Put Zion on the opposite team. Attack. Right?
Right. Practice those situations. Now that makes sense. Man, yeah, but moving on, really briefly, just wanted to mention your boy. We were talking last week, Manny Machado looking for the deal. Looks like he got the deal he wanted. 10 years, $300 million from the Padres. I was kind of surprised he went with the Padres. Now he does stay in California, obviously coming from the Dodgers last year, so I wanted to be in Cali. I mean, who doesn't really want to be in Cali? But 10 years, I've always noticed these baseball players getting these long deals. 10 years is a lot. I got a couple 10-year deals before with Texas and New York. Yeah. It does come with a fifth-year opt-out clause, though, and an option and a no-trade clause as well. So, I mean, the four-time All-Star and two-time Gold Glove winner did get the money he was looking for, $300 million. I think there was a better offer on the table, however, from the White Sox. I think they were giving him like 8 years for like 286 or something like that. So I think per year it might have been more than a 30 per year. But either way, I mean, but think about it. Being in Chicago, South Side Chicago, or sunny California, it's like, which one are you going to pick? So I think that had to do with it. So I mean, now that he's signed, the guy left now is Bryce Harper. What's going to happen?
I mean, much congratulations to Manny Machado for getting that money. Good for you. I don't know how the San Diego Padres stack up to the rest of the field. If he thinks he can go there and make him a winner, or they're going to create a powerhouse, or maybe this is just one of those cases you want to get paid. I don't know how contracts work in baseball. I understand that the money is guaranteed, even though there's a fifth-year opt-out. So that's, maybe this is a 5-year, $150 million contract.
I mean, then there's, I guess he could just change up. I mean, he could literally just opt and leave after the fifth year. So you're right. I think 150 he's going to get at least 150.
Yeah, right. So if that's at least 150 for 5 years, that's pretty damn good. And then the no trade clause, I think, definitely works in his favor very well. So it's up to him to see what he makes of this scenario. I'm not aware if contracts then set the market for other contracts, right? So if this ends up being a 5-year 150, is that what we're going to see? This opt-out clause, fifth or sixth year option for someone like Bryce Harper, and where he goes, right? I think it's interesting. It's intriguing to me that the people who are on the trading block, when we'll get a chance to talk about Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, the market doesn't seem to be hot. The money's there, but the market's not hot, right? I think what they're coming to find is that these teams are just not willing to part with that much liquid for the opportunity for you to wear their jersey, whether you bring them a championship or not. So I think Bryce Harper will get his money. Where will that be? I hope he goes to a contender.
I mean, he deserves it. Obviously, he's one of the best players in the league. I think he'll get it too. And honestly, now that Machado's first, it's almost like when in the NFL, Khalil Mack,
Cousins and Aaron Rodgers.
Something. Yeah, okay, that's a good
Maybe it
example.
was Matt Ryan too.
I was thinking of Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald.
Okay.
Khalil Mack signed first, became the richest defensive player in NFL history, and then 2 days later or a day later, Aaron Donald signed and beat that record. So
Yeah.
I think that now that Machado is signed, I think Harper will say, okay, he's getting 300.
Yeah.
I'm better than him. I'm worth 310 or 320 or 350, whatever this is. So I think it actually Machado signing first actually benefits Harper in a way. Where will he go? I guess that's left to be seen.
Yeah.
Moving on. So let's go over to the NBA now. We were briefly discussing how, like I said, the whole one and done thing. NBA did propose changing the age limit from 19 back down to 18, where it last was. I believe the last year players were allowed to come out was 2004 or 2005, around that range.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen immediately. We're in 2019 now, so I think maybe by the 2021 season, or maybe the 2022 season, I think it'll happen. And do you agree that they definitely should change it?
These are old guys that need more quality talent, and you just need to open up the floodgates because some of the best that you have are just too old. If the limit had been 18, they would have Zion right now. Right. So
to be honest, you're right. They would, but I don't think Zion would have been the number one pick if he went straight to the NBA. I think it would have been RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett was rated higher coming out of high school. Zion was definitely doing his thing over in Spartanburg, but he developed his game more and put on a show. Now he's definitely, he's going to be the number one pick. So it kind of improved his stature by going to college.
Okay. And there we go. Back to our earlier conversation. You need that coaching. They've definitely transformed him from what he was coming in to Zion as we know him today.
Exactly.
Right? So,
exactly. I'm in favor of the change, though. They don't limit it, but like I said, I think they should go to college at least for 1 or 2 years. But I'm in favor of them changing the age limit, though. So I will say that. I guess you are too. It sounds like, but I just think they should go to college.
Yeah, I think that the focus needs to be on nurturing these people into the best human being they can be. Now, if they want to chase the game of basketball, please help them along with that. Don't keep them by any means keep them from maximizing their earning potential, because that's at the end of the day that's what's going to keep your family going.
Absolutely. Definitely agree. Moving on in the NBA as well. I don't know if you watched the game last night. The Rockets and Warriors, they were in Golden State. Rockets came out with that victory, 118-112. Impressively, without James Harden. I think he was out due to some kind of illness. CP3 played well. He had 23 points, 17 assists. Your boy Kenneth Faried, 20 and 10. Gordon, 25 points. They looked good. PJ Tucker had 18 points.
Yep.
Good for the Rockets. I think this is a fourth straight regular season victory over the Warriors. I think they're the only team in the NBA to do that. KD, he had a pretty good game, 29. Boogie had 13 points, 14 rebounds. Curry had 25. Thompson had 20. So, they were moving. Green, what's up with Draymond? Dude had 4 points. I feel like he is just offensively, he's not there this year. I don't know. Is it because Boogie is there doing it? I think he was doing it anyway. Like, he's averaging 7 points for the season and set just over 7 rebounds. What happened to Draymond being the all-star that he was?
There's only one ball, and you have just. I watched Kevin Durant in the game last night take a foul, flip in the air, and just a dime on top of it with the N1. I would rather see that than Draymond Green throw up a prayer. You know what I mean? You have 4 guys there who can get the job done. You got a shooter off of 4 bounces can get you 40 points. 4 dribbles?
Yeah.
I think what is coming to pass is that Draymond's time might be dwindling. I think you can find someone to fill in that role for him and not lose a lot of what you have on the field. If you just had a guy whose responsibility was defensive and ball distribution in Draymond's role, and that person was happy with that, I think the Warriors still can take on the rest of the league.
Yeah, I don't think they 100% need Draymond to win a championship. Now, he has the passion, he has the tenacity, and that strive to win. Don't get me wrong, the intensity, I want to say. which definitely goes a long way. But being that you have Curry and KD and Clay and Boogie, I think you're right. You can really just put anybody in there at that 4 spot, and they could still win the championship. So I think he's just gonna play his part until I guess they don't really need him anymore, and they realize, oh wait, we don't have to pay you all this money and need you right now. We can win. We can kind of win without you.
Yeah.
So I think his time in Golden State. Now, if Boogie does leave, 'cause remember Boogie's only on a 1-year deal. If Boogie goes to, let's say, LA or something like that, then I think Draymond will stick around and his role will increase more. But for now, I think it's just kind of it is what it is. Another topic I think what we want to discuss, I think that you wanted to bring up was former disgraced referee Tim Donaghy, right?
Yes. So it's the anniversary of Tim Donaghy got caught up in a scandal. So I just reading over, there's an article, and I'll link to it later, that on ESPN, where they were just like how he was able to do this. I guess the person he was working with was a 25-year friend that he had that they grew up together, who was just like, hey, you owe me a sizable amount of money. We got to get out of this rut. Let's go ahead and we fix these games. You make these wins happen. So this scheme, some people called it the program, some people called it the company, because there were a lot of people involved, but nobody goes to the restaurant, but everybody's got a hand in the pizza pie. So this is a snippet from the article. It says his picks were winning at an 88% clip, totally unheard of in sports betting for any sustained period of time. They were now entering the 6th week of the scheme, which you might call a sustained period of time. So 88% of the time, his games are going that way. So I look at, and I only brought this up because I was looking at the Warriors game. I was unaware that James Harden had an illness, so he didn't play, snapping the streak. But, there has been a lot of conversation about this ref that I guess just is very personal, is very into this game and a specific Rockets games. And you see that game, the Lakers win, but
the other
both of their stars.
Foster, Foster, the Rockets were complaining about the calls and everything like that. I think it's personal, right?
Apparently, Chris Paul has already spoken to the league about this internally to voice his concerns. So I didn't like that. I thought the league was handed out a suspension for James Harden because of his comments that he made to the public.
I think he might be suspended. Yeah, I think he was going to be suspended, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Because he kind of was like, it's personal. This guy, he thinks it's completely personal. This guy Foster, I think he said in quote, he shouldn't referee any Rockets game ever again. Yeah. Something like that, which was kind of a lot. Like, yeah, dude, you definitely can't say that. Yeah. I definitely think something's up, with them. But yeah, I mean.
What's that? I was gonna say, you look at James Harden, and of the people to be complaining about the refs, the man who takes 7 steps for a step back, right? Like I just don't know how. Maybe you're just not gonna win every game. Maybe you're just not gonna get away with taking those stops every game. But
right, no, he wasn't suspended. He was fined $25,000 for criticizing the referee Scott Foster. He was fined $25,000. Yeah, that's what it was. But I mean, yeah, you kind of look at it this way. You complain about not getting calls, and then, like you said, you able to take 6-7 steps in a step back and they don't call it on you. So it's like it goes either way, dude. Sometimes it happens. It happens in football. It happens, in baseball, or whatever. It can happen anywhere, man. I mean, not really baseball. Excuse me. Like sometimes I was gonna say if a person's safe or out, but that's why they have replays now, though. But I mean, like I said, football, I guess, is the easiest way to compare it. There's holding pretty much on every single play. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. Joe Thomas is a career holder. Like they are like he's one of the best left tackles in the game. But I watched him give an instructional video on like, okay, well, you jam him up, and if you get the arm right here, they can't see that it's a hold, and you've got him locked in. He's not going anywhere. I was like, what? You're telling me that you cheated your entire career?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, okay, so and then you're pretty much getting away with. They can call holding on every play, so you're getting away with calls all the time. You're not gonna get every single call, especially the fact there's 10 people on the court and there's 3 referees. 3 people cannot watch 10 people at every single point. Fact. So I mean, like literally, so you can't do that. You can physically only watch one person at a time. So if you want to have 5, 6, 7 referees out there, that way more people can watch the calls. Okay, fine. Then I guarantee you're gonna have almost everybody fouling out every single game then.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to raise the foul limit to 10 fouls instead of 6 fouls.
Oh, that's a hand check. And,
Yep,
and then you think about the certain players who get more calls than other players do, right? Like guys are getting throwing up prayers. There's some fouls that I see shooters get that I'm just like, why would you give him that?
Dude, I hate the foul. And I really quick before we move on, because I know we cautious of our time here.
Yeah.
But I hate the fact that shooter will jump or go to a shot. They know the defender's coming at them. Defenders are standing there, and they jump forward into the defender as they're shooting. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, oops, he hit me. No, you jumped into him.
Right.
Or the play where they're shooting up and they're coming, and you know what I mean, or like they're coming down and the defender's staying there. They hit the defender as on their way down, like or something like that. Or even if you have the ball and you're trying to get up and catch it and you hit a defender, like staying there, dude. I have to be able to come down. I can't stay there. I don't defy gravity. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I can't catch the ball in midair, turn around you, wait, look around, and then come down, dude. I can't stand those. Dude, I remember one specifically. I'm gonna bring this up. Game 6, the 98 finals, Bulls and Jazz. Okay. Rodman caught a pass, I believe it was from Pippen. Caught it, jumped down, and he came down right in the Karl Malone, I believe, or maybe it was Antoine Carr. He caught it. And they called the foul on Rodman. All Rodman was doing was catching the ball. He jumped to catch the ball and came straight down. And even Jordan was like, ref, he has to be able to come down with the ball. How are you calling foul on Rodman just because that's that guy's fault for standing there? Just don't. Yeah. I either say it's a defensive foul or no foul at all. Actually,
it's just I would agree with that.
It's never contact.
It's almost an undercut. You almost undercut me. Like if I'm coming down and then I fall over the top of you and almost kill myself, then they call the foul. But if you come down and the guy's right there, then you got a problem.
Yeah, I cannot stand those little ticky-tack fouls that they call. It's so annoying, dude. I'm definitely with you on that one, man. I mean, they need to change that completely. But sorry, but I know we were going off topic there for a minute. But yeah, I did briefly see the Donahue thing that you were referring to, the ref. And it was more about I don't think it was so much about the fouls. I think it was about him making sure that the games covered the spread, because that's what they were really betting on and making money off of. Make sure each game was covering the spread. So yeah, I did briefly see that article. I'm going to go back and read it later this week. It looks pretty interesting. Yes. It's just amazing that he got away with it for so long, But I mean,
it's indicative of human nature, right? Like you wouldn't suspect anything was going on until the players voiced their opinion that they felt like something's going on here. So there's some cooking going on. So
yeah, definitely, man. Well, let's move on. I want to go into the NFL. First off, some big news out of the NFL, sort of this week. Yeah, your boy Robert Kraft.
It's my man.
That's your man. That's your man's.
That's
whose man's is this?
Yeah, that's right. Right here.
Yes.
He's with us. He's just an eccentric old man. He's a lowly old man.
Yo, come on, dude. How you a billionaire or millionaire, whatever you getting bagged at a massage parlor for soliciting prostitution?
I mean, you know what?
I'm gonna let you take this one. Go ahead.
Where's his handler? Where is his handler? This is a lonely old man who he wanted some comfort. Okay. Obviously, he could do this with trained professionals who work in an industry that is legal in some states. I don't know why he felt the backwoods nowhere of Florida was the place to get his rocks off. But this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. Why you could? I feel like in today's world we can order anything we want. These things can be delivered to you. I don't know what you're doing. Driving like an hour and a half away from Miami during the I hope it was during the Miami football game. I really do. I want to know that he's not flying down to Florida for these things every now and again.
But you can order like you just said, you can order anything. You can order food online. You can get your groceries delivered to your crib. You can have a barber even come to your crib if you wanted to. There's an app for that.
Absolutely.
But you couldn't get. I get it. You want to get off. You want to do your thing. Whatever you can do. There's plenty of places. You can just call up a service. Hey, I need some entertainment for the night. Your hand, like you said, your handler, your manager, whatever it is. Let them make that phone call. Let them take the opportunity. Go in. You get. That's it. You done. Like, how you at a massage parlor? I get it. Massage parlor's nice. They got some scented candles. Maybe some soft music.
The aromatherapy is fantastic.
Yeah, I bet it is. You know what I'm saying? I bet it is. I get it. But come on, dude. I, I have no words. Dude,
Yeah, it's just.
sorry. He's
I
rich.
mean,
No,
if
he's
you'd
not
have
rich.
told me he was, that's the icing on the cake. That's the thing that hurts the most. That me and my friends, maybe it's because we weren't born into wealth, right? We didn't amass a huge amount of wealth. We didn't buy a football team after being a manager of a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we have to be very creative with the way we spend our money and the way we find our money. So I just we
I,
can make a trip to Florida look fantastic without getting into that kind of trouble.
right.
I can only imagine when my net worth is $4.3 billion that I'm hanging out at a 2.5-star massage parlor
That's what
in
I'm
Jupiter,
saying, dude.
Florida.
Dude, he could have had any woman go to his crib anytime, pour some Kraft mac and cheese on top of her, do whatever. You know what I'm saying, dude, and just all day long. I don't, why is my man doing this in a little strip mall? Like, come on, man, dude,
I
y'all,
just
son.
and can we talk about, did they need to release this? Did they have to? Come on, Jupiter, Florida.
Yeah,
I
dude,
understand that collusion is a terrible thing. I understand that the law needs to be handled a certain way. But
yeah,
this is an opportunity to turn him into a spokesperson for this under the covers without blowing up his spot. I'm just throwing that out there. You could have used this to do some good. Now it's just the international smear campaign. The photos have been very forgiving, though. The photos they've used of him, he's been couple
yeah.
of these, couple
Yeah.
of those. Yeah.
I want to see pictures of the chicks he was messing with though. That's what I want to see next. I want to see the pictures of the chicks because I hope it's not what I hope it's not. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I don't know what this spot is. I don't know what their specialty is. I don't know if they have an international clientele. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's I need to understand what the pronouns are when I meet some of these people. I don't know, right? But everybody has their proclivities. Unfortunately, he did his in a state where it is illegal and got caught up in it. I just don't. You're supposed to be smarter than that.
Come on! Oh my God, this dude. Oh my. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
I know we've been talking about AB for quite a bit. Antonio Brown. He did have a meeting with Steelers president Art Rooney II the other day, and after the meeting, he sent out this tweet saying, "Had a great meeting with Mr. Rooney. Today we discussed a lot of things and we cleared the air on several issues. We both agreed that it is time to move on. But I'll always have appreciation and gratitude towards the Rooney family and Steelers organization. Call God booming." So it's I guess it is official that we all knew it was going to be official, but AB will be moving on from the Steelers. I just can't believe that they couldn't figure this out together. You're going to lose two of the best players in the league within one off season.
Yep.
It's rough for them. It is what it is, but I don't know what to say about it anymore. I think we said all we can to say about it, but still think that he may go somewhere West Coast. I think he might want to go someplace, like you said, like a San Francisco with a young QB, warm weather, unless it's a big stage like New York with the Jets and a young QB and Sam Darnold. Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know. But I don't know. Is there anything else can we say more about this whole AB situation, Obed?
I mean, hopefully he doesn't make a New York Jets move like Santonio Holmes and bottom out the rest of his career. That would be terrible for him. Yeah. But that happens sometimes. So the first thing for me is fine. Yes, we are in agreement that they had to move on. The next thing for me is after that, the Steelers general manager comes out and says that Big Ben can criticize anyone, and it just made we had a very livid discussion, or a very lively discussion between you, myself, and DB last week.
Yeah.
And so we all have our points of emphasis on how we feel about Ben Roethlisberger as a player. So I went back and looked at his stats. He's had a fantastic career passer rating, QBR rating. It's above the 90s, the high 90s. My thing for him is that his game is so sloppy, right? These guys have to ball out. He gives you the completion percentage in the mid 60s to upper 60s. He gives you the over 3,900 or 3,800 or better passing yards. He gives you the mid-tier, I should say career, league average of like 29, 30 touchdowns a year or more. Had a career high 34 this last year. But 16 interceptions last year, 14 the year before, 13 the year before, 16 the year before. And this guy's he has a career touchdown interception ratio of almost 1 to 2. This guy is almost going to give you 2 to 1. He comes into a game and could throw it away on the back of some fantastic work. Now, how many of the interceptions are his fault? How many of those are bad balls versus somebody fumbling it, somebody not making the catch?
Right.
Balls. I think the criticizing thing came from, and then the article that you posted as well also mentioned that, yes, he's the big godfather, the Don Corleone for the 51 other people on the team, or 52 people, 53 people on the team.
Yeah.
And I get that, I understand that, but then it's like, okay, he's the last person remaining from the last Super Bowl run. The last Super Bowl win, I believe.
Yeah.
Does that mean that he's? Oh, go ahead.
No. As you say, as we were about the whole GM, and I was just going to read this quote from the GM where he said about Ben. He's the elder statesman and the Super Bowl winner. If our players were smart, they'd listen to him because he's been there. He's done it. He can tell them, no, guys, what you're doing is not good enough to do this. I honestly believe that that can be a burden on him for more often than he may like to admit, because he has to. He's got 52 kids under him, quite honestly, end quote. So as you were saying, it puts I think it sometimes it does put pressure on these QBs, because the QBs are always saying they're the leader of the team, they're the captain, they're the one in charge. Maybe Big Ben is not captain or leadership material like everyone wants him to be. So that kind of go, you know what I mean? Just because he's a quarterback doesn't mean he has to be the leader of the team. I get it. It's just way it's usually done. You know what I mean? That's how it's done. But it doesn't mean, okay, but if he sucks as a leader, then he sucks as a leader. Move on. Get somebody else to lead the damn team, dude.
Exactly.
So, but you're saying about his whole touchdown interception thing, I mean, is he going to keep throwing interceptions like Brett Favre and eventually be interception king?
The fact that you said that, I was looking at his numbers. I was like, he's Brett Favre 2.0. He's given you tons of great moments and tons of great work, but losing games because he throws the ball away.
Right. And he throws it where it shouldn't be. No, don't get me wrong. He's a Hall of Famer. And then we were talking about this last week with TV. He's a Hall of Famer, but he sometimes makes these mistakes and does erratic things sometimes. He's a big deal. And and I don't think he's got much longer to play, to be honest. He's always constantly injured, dude. Yeah. And like I said, he was out for some time. He had an appendix injury, a knee injury, the back injury, whatever the case is. Yeah. I think he's got maybe a year left. I think this coming year could be his last year, if not maybe 2 years, because he was in that same draft with Eli and Phillip, and they're getting older too. So I think
the sad part about that. Sorry to cut you off. The sad part about that is that I can just tell they're not taking care of their bodies. These guys refuse to take care of their bodies. Aaron Rodgers finally started taking care of his body, and it shows. Tom Brady takes care of his body. Drew Brees takes care of his body.
Absolutely.
I look at Big Ben, and it's just like, Ben, you need to be working out. You need to be in some kind of shape to take these hits. You're a big guy. It's going to come crashing down really hard for you really quickly.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't apply himself in the way that you would as a leader to be that example that, like, okay, well, Le'Veon's doing it, and Antonio's doing it, but they don't like the way those guys handle other parts of their lives, so we don't want them to be the leader. We want Ben to be the leader. And it was like, oh, you want Ben to be the leader? Ben is not a leader. We're going to go be leaders somewhere else.
Right. And to your point, while taking care of the body, I mean, Brady, he does an amazing job taking whether it's nutrition, the workouts he does, if it's plyometrics, whatever it is. Ben needs to get his ass on that stuff too. Excuse me, dude, stop drinking. Stop drinking with certain things. Stop eating certain foods. Whatever the case is.
Whatever it takes to extend your career, man. Like, people are looking for you to, and that's why it's like, if I'm Antonio Brown, how are you going to tell me what I need to be doing? How about you deliver a better ball? You want me to run a flatter route? I'm one of the top 2 running wide receivers. One of the top 2 wide receivers in this game that we play right now.
Absolutely.
Are you one of the top 2 quarterbacks? Hell no.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Antonio Brown right now is a better football player than Big Ben. So maybe Big Ben, you're like, okay, AB, I got you. Next time, all right, I'll look for you more. Whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate they're gonna lose him as well too. But here we are. Moving on, want to wrap up another episode this week with a divisional roundtable. We're going to move on to the AFC West this time. We'll start out with the Broncos. We mentioned a couple weeks ago they're going to be trading for Joe Flacco once the new league year begins. They agreed in principle with the Ravens. Your boy Case Keenum was a little upset about this. He was not happy with your boy John Elway. He called him up. Was like, "Yo, dude, what's good? Like, why'd you bring me here?" I think he signed a year, $36 million deal or something like that. I can't remember the exact number. Excuse me.
Yep.
Last year, and he's they had a rough year. They finished 6-10.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really the greatest year for him.
But they didn't really have the greatest team. I mean, they had age all over the place. They had to get rid of. Like that team is in a flux right now. So 6-10 in flux is not bad. I mean, if it's just going to be a quarterback competition, okay, fine. I think Case Keenum could beat out Joe Flacco because I don't know what Joe Flacco brings here. I really don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, depends on how guaranteed the money is. It depends on what they could get back for him. Case Keenum didn't show me enough in 1 year to think it's time to move off from him, but it's only been 1 year.
Right.
Same thing with Vance Joseph getting fired, right? We don't believe Vance Joseph should have been fired from that. No,
not at all. Yeah, 100% agree. I think they should give Keenum they let him finish out his contract, but I mean this deal looks like it's going to be done when the new league year starts next month. I mean Flacco, former Super Bowl winner and Super Bowl MVP, can he bring a level of maturity and experience to that team? Absolutely, but I think the Broncos need some other needs. I mean, I think they need to work on the line, keeping Flacco healthy or Keenum healthy is going to be a big priority.
Keep Weber back there healthy.
Yeah, maybe look at getting a cornerback, even another receiver. Emmanuel Sanders, I think he got out for the seat hurt was out for the mid-season last year. I think they're going to need some other needs to fill in the draft. Yeah. So I'm not really sure where the Broncos go. I think if this doesn't work out, though, this might be the end of John Elway in Denver.
Oh my goodness, we've talked about this before. I think it's been the end of John Elway. He's messing up. He's messing up pretty bad. Yeah. And it's draft picks around the entire team, as well as movements the team has made in trying to find the next quarterback. He's made a lot of bonehead moves, and I think it's coming to pass that this has to end.
Yeah, I think the organization might be kind of feeling the same way, that if let's say they do get this deal done with Flacco and it doesn't work out, I think John Elway might be unemployed next offseason. So I guess we'll see what happens there. Moving on, let's go over to the Chargers. Chargers, who obviously had a great year. I think they finished 12-4 last season. Went to the playoffs. Phillip Rivers, man, how much longer does he have?
Honestly, I say 4 years.
Really? I mean, he's 37. He's 37, dude.
If they can keep him clean, he's been automatic for 4,300 yards and 30 touchdowns a year. Almost for the majority of his career, he's been consistent. As long as he's got talent around him, and sometimes you don't even have talent around him, and he's giving you those numbers. But it's about him staying healthy. I don't think he's had any huge concussions or anything like that. I don't think he's had any big injuries outside of that knee a long time ago, right? He's got the longevity. He's still making babies. I know that much.
Yeah.
9, 10 kids. He's catching up to Antonio Cromartie now.
Kids, yo. Yeah, but at least his is with the same girl. Antonio Cromartie got 16 kids by 17 wives. You know what I'm saying? So let's be honest.
His prolific 2007 campaign that had him getting 12 interceptions and 11 babies that year at every city that he visited.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people are potent out here. What about you? How many years do you think he has left?
Honestly, 2.
Really? Guys are hitting 41 though, man. Drew's hitting 41. Tom's already 41.
Yeah, but let me say this: the Chargers need to draft a successor soon, just like the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers. When Favre, Aaron Rodgers sat for 4 years behind Brett Favre. Now he's arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL and has been for the past 5, 6, 7 years. If you can get that experience and knowledge from a Hall of Fame quarterback, do it. Yeah. The same reason why I say the Patriots need to draft a QB now. So that Brady's going to be their starter. Don't get me wrong, but let them sit and learn from Brady. Let the Saints draft a quarterback. Let them sit and learn from Breeze. The Chargers, he should draft a quarterback now, or if not next year, let them sit and learn from Rivers, dude. Yeah. It's only going to help them more, you know?
I think the problem is finding a prospect. 2, the draft capital it costs to bring in a prospect worthy enough to hold the clipboard for one of the geniuses of the game and absorb the knowledge, right? It's like the first 3 months at a job. You know, that first month you're drinking from the fire hose. That second month you're getting your feet wet. The third month, you know, you start performing, you start producing. You can see the fruits of your labor. But it's no different than any 80s montage of Mr. Miyagi training Daniel-san, right? But how many kids can actually hang with a guy who's like pumping at all cylinders all the time? It's tough.
Yeah, sometimes you wax on, wax off. Sometimes, dude, it is what it is.
Yeah, you know. But running around in a shower curtain at Halloween getting his butt kicked, but yeah. But no, I mean, I could see 2 strong years. Maybe find that heir apparent. A lot of teams have not. A lot of teams have not found that heir apparent, and it's going to show. We'll see. I hope Garoppolo doesn't turn into Aaron Rodgers. And I gotta like be hurt seeing him do that somewhere else.
Y'all gonna be mad.
You know what? And Andy's about to have Antonio Brown. Could be looking up for the Niners.
Ooh, yeah, I think the Niners. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. San Francisco and Cleveland are the 2 places that people might want to start looking at. I'm just saying.
When we were talking about the running back situation, Le'Veon Bell going to San Francisco, they have Matt Breida. Matt Breida has shown himself to be a very good, gutsy, hardworking running back. That this is fantasy tip. Watch out for this guy. I know Jerick McKinnon will come back, but we've seen what happened when you have an ACL tear running back try to come back too hard in what's that kid from Cook.
Dalvin Cook, yeah.
Dalvin Cook
Minnesota.
Come back too strong, too soon. And not managing them into the role so that they can be healthy at the course of the year. I like Matt Breida. You know, no need for them to go after Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. I still think the Chargers should look at a QB, like I said, just as an heir apparent in the draft. Maybe D-line. Joey Bosa didn't play a lot. You know, he was hurt, but he's still a dynamic player. Maybe offensive line, make sure Rivers stays healthy. And even look at the defensive side, maybe look in the secondary to kind of bolster that secondary. Now, they do have what's the kid on the Chargers? I think it was in the defensive side, the safety, Derwin James, who was out of Florida State last year. So he had a great rookie year for them. But I think to bolster that secondary, I think they might go look in the draft again for them for this year. But moving on from the Chargers, let's go over to the Chiefs. Obviously, you got the reigning MVP and Patrick Mahomes did his thing, 50 touchdowns. I mean, what can you really say about this kid? So I think right now Vegas has him at the Super Bowl favorites for next year, if I'm not mistaken, according to Westbrook, I believe. So where do they really look to go now? One of the biggest things I think they're going to look to fulfill a role is their running back situation, obviously losing Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
So will they look to draft a running back? Will they look to trade for one, or if we're going to get one in free agency? You still got Ware and the Williams guys.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But honestly, on the offensive side, the only thing I think they need to work on is maybe a little bit on the interior line and another receiver.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill, phenomenal. Yeah. Sammy Watkins is always injured, though.
Yeah, and his replacement, Kelvin Benjamin, is always injured too.
So, I mean, my God, yeah. I'm talking about him, dude. So that's what I'm saying. So you got Tyreek Hill, but you need somebody else that's going to be consistent and be on the field. So that's why I think they may want to look at getting a receiver in this year's draft, So I'm not sure kind of how they go. They're going to look like. Andy Reid's developed the program tremendously. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Chiefs, what they should do, and how they'll fare next season?
They'll need a scat back. They'll need somebody quick on their feet, somebody that can get to the second level, go between the tackles when they need. And in regards to the wide receiver, maybe they could get an Antonio Brown. If they feel like investing in a guy that can win right now, maybe give him and Patrick Mahomes somebody they can work with really well, and come in and be smart to understand what they're doing. He's got to be fast. Their entire offense is predicated on speed. People are going to figure out how they're faking you out, but it's all predicated on speed. If they can't stay fast, they're not going to be explosive. They're not going to be explosive enough to take advantage of people.
Yeah, and I think they look at the secondary as well. So I know Eric Berry, phenomenal player, but he's been injured a lot. He I know.
Achilles is just hard to come back from.
Yeah, and he had, I believe, almost like another unrelated football scare. No, I believe he was suffering from by like leukemia or something like that. I apologize, I'm not saying that correct. It wasn't the right term, but so I mean, they're going to look to get either a corner or a safety to replace Berry, if he's not healthy enough. So I think they got to look at that as well too. But moving on from the Chiefs, and last in the AFC West, of course, is the Oakland Raiders. Well, the soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders. Eventually, they got one last year in Oakland. Well, are they even playing in Oakland this year? Did they even find a place to play?
I am unaware. They're talking about being able to stay in Oakland,
Okay.
or potentially going. There's another place, another stadium they wanted.
I think they were going to maybe share the San Francisco Giants baseball stadium.
That's what I heard. That's what it was. The San Francisco
yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This is what happens with the Donald Sterling situation. I agree with DB that we're in a day and age when a man can't have a private conversation with someone, even if it is damning information with a private conversation. This has been a publicly shown charade, just to tank the team, move them, get a new stadium, get the Super Bowl, because you always get a Super Bowl with new stadiums. So you get some money out of it, and then see if you can get a return on your investment for that huge move. Make the taxpayers pay for this out of their pocket, and then run home all the way to the bank. I understand blowing it up, but now this has become a farce.
Dude, what is John Gruden doing, man? I mean, he's
running all the oldies, bringing back the hits.
He's running the show, I know, but dude, first with Khalil Mack, then giving away Amari Cooper. I mean, now they've stockpiled on draft picks. They've got 11 picks coming up in this draft this year, and it was 3 in the first round. I mean, so which is nice. They got a first round with the Mack deal and Amari Cooper. Yeah. So, I mean, 11 picks, that's great for them. Don't get me wrong. Good for them. Stockpiling picks.
You could turn 11 picks into 15 picks, but the 15 picks, you better spend them the right way. And that's another concern. Like, okay, you've shown that you know how to clear house. Great. Do you know how to build a team, knowing that you haven't touched this game as intimately as like some football analysts that do things for like Pro Football Focus, right? Who did this guy Zach Robinson, who just got hired onto Sean McVay's staff. Can you prove you know the game well enough to bring out the best in these kids and get the best kids?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, just going back to their draft a little bit, what we're going to do, quite frankly, they need to draft an entire defense. Their biggest thing was, during a year, Gruden's like, it's hard to get a pass rusher. Fool, you had a damn pass rusher. You had the damn best pass rusher in the league in Khalil Mack, and you let him go. You traded him. You know what I mean? They've got to get a corner. They've got a linebacker. They need a safety. It's like they just need an entirely new defense.
Yep.
And I think they're going to look at a receiver as well too. Derek Carr needs someone to throw the ball to. Let's be honest. I mean,
if Derek Carr is even the guy that's going to be throwing the ball.
If he is, right? I mean, Jordy Nelson, I like him. He's not a number one. Sorry.
He's too old. He's too old to fulfill that role for them.
I know Gruden likes him a lot. That's why he brought him on, but you need somebody else there. And quite frankly, I think you're going to need a running back too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Marshawn Lynch knows if he's going to come back. I don't believe he is. I think he's done. But Doug Martin, I don't see him kind of the
hamster. Nah, that boat has sailed.
Yeah, that juggernaut. I feel like he's the train that could, the little choo-choo train, but he's not, that engine is beginning to shut down. It's beginning to wind down. Yeah. I think he's done, I don't know, man. I think they need a lot. And even the tight end spot, Jared looked well. He had a great season for them. He was on my favorite team. He did, but is he an elite tight end? Not really, but he's okay. But when you're starting receivers are Jordy Nelson and Marcel Aitman, I don't really know what to tell you. There you go. I don't know. I have no idea who it is. Like,
yeah. I'm completely unaware. I wish. I'm not drafting those guys. Fantasy football analyst people, don't draft those guys.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. So they've got a lot to do, and they also need a kicker. You know what I mean, too?
He's still out there doing it. He could have came back at like a league minimum for them and wouldn't care. You know what I mean? He just wanted to be a Raider. that.
Yeah, but I think he's over in what's it? Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Carlson, he was okay, but I don't know, man. The Raiders, they're just they're just a mess. I honestly think the recruiting doing all this, he was getting ready for Vegas.
Absolutely.
He wants to be on a strip, chilling and gambling during the week when that's what it is. So
absolutely. Imagine the post office happy hour on a day like that.
Yeah, I honestly just think he was getting ready for this move to Vegas. That's what it's all about. So
blow it up while you're on the way out.
Yeah, man. Anyway, that is it for this week. Did you have anything else you wanted to add or contribute for this week's episode?
You know what, guys? You can find yourself a lovely girlfriend. It's not that hard out here. Just read a couple more books. Go to the gym, work out a little bit, get in touch with yourself. You will find a lady.
Wait, don't have touch yourself. Whoa, it's not that kind of show, dude.
In touch with.
Okay.
Mindfulness. Please don't get caught up at some random day spot in Florida. Okay, we're better than that.
Seriously, isn't that what Tinder's for?
I'm pretty sure.
I
thought they were yelling Tinder.
I'm pretty sure Tinder was invented for this purpose without it being illegal. Hashtag. That's all I got to say about it.
Swipe. Don't drive an hour and a half.
There you go.
To say to the people.
You said it all. I think we're good. Like I said, don't get jammed up in some stupidness. That's all I gotta say. But anyway, good seeing you as always, my friend. Catch you next time, dude. Peace.
Pleasure. Take care.
Peace.